Hello everyone, welcome back, and welcome to the workshop, or what we call Matthew's workshop. He is the main mechanic here, and he's very good at it, so aptly named Matthew's workshop. But today, 14th of June, Friday the 14th of June, and we are down here. We look at the spud harvester, which is behind you, and I'll show you in a minute. But we've been sort of last couple of weeks had a week of annual leave, which was nice. Went down to Pembrokeshire, and we've been doing a bit of strimming, a bit of roguing, just some odd jobs around the farm. Been to a couple of farm events locally, which has been good, looking at different drilling methods and stuff like that. So that was quite interesting through AHDB. And now, yeah, just sort of brought the spud harvester into the workshop, and we're slowly working our way through it. Takes a bit of looking after. So yeah, we'll go and have a look around it, and I will show you now. Right, so here we are, Grimme GT170 harvester, obviously trail behind the fence. Most of the harvesters in Herefordshire are generally Grimme GTs, I think. There are a few self-propelled and maybe some stand-ins as well, but majority are this harvester. So we'll just have a look around it. First of all, some absolutely disgusting class overalls. Need to get them washed, but never mind. So I'll show you a little bit around the machine, what we've changed, and a little bit about what each part does. So first of all, yeah, PTO, changed this shaft here, and the bearing inside there. Matthew's changed the bearings on these drums, there and there. So they're the depth drums. They sit on top of the row. Then we've also changed these discs. So these are 64 centimetres from one side to the other, and our old ones were 54. So you could say in a dry season, when the soil's obviously quite dry, you'd lose quite a bit of soil down the side, and you want as much soil as possible to go up the web to sort of cushion the potatoes and minimise bruising. Obviously the soil then gets dropped out further down, and hopefully you're left with potatoes just coming out the elevator up there. That's the idea. So they've been replaced, and the scrapers as well have been replaced on them. Stop mud building up on them. Try and keep it as steady as possible. These are the shares. We've replaced all of those. They sit under the row, and they lift the whole row up, soil with the potatoes in, which then goes up onto the first web, which sits here, which we've got underneath there at the moment, taking them out. A couple of bars need replacing in them, so that's why they get taken out. Also replace some of the rollers down here. Sorry if the camera goes a bit jerky. So replace some of these. Let's try and get it to focus. There we go. So either if the bearing's gone in them, or they're just worn away because of the web. That one was quite worn, so we've replaced that. Yeah, first web sits here. Still need to, there's little scrapers which go under here to stop soil building up on these, which you still need to do those. So a lot of it is take something off, go to Len Evans, order a part, and then wait for it to come in. But they're generally pretty quick, to be fair. A day or two and you've got what you need. So up we go without falling off. Second web obviously sits here. That's an agitator, and what you can do with that is you can lift or lower it when you're harvesting. You can see that sort of gap there allows you to lift it. So if you lift it, it will agitate the web constantly like that, and you'll sift more soil out if you've got a lot of soil, or if you leave it down, then it won't even touch it at all. So just adjust that depending on the conditions, really. Hydraulic oil tank. So we've dropped all the oil out, and then we've just changed the filters and replaced that, filled it back up. And then this is the multi-sep, so this is the complicated part, and this is where we're up to at the moment. Obviously that bit seems quite straightforward and simple. This is where it gets a bit more complex, and the expensive part. And that's obviously the elevator which goes in the trailer. So we'll start here. Potatoes come up the web, up here, dropped onto these clob rollers, or holm rollers. They take the holm out, holm out of the material that's coming up here. And basically, this whole section is just to take out as much rubbish as possible, be it stone, soil, holm, anything like that. So you're left with just potatoes, hopefully, going in the trailer, depending on the conditions and the operator. So when it was me, there was plenty of mud going in there, but that's fine. I'm only joking. Obviously, try to do as best I can to just put potatoes in the trailer. That is obviously the idea of it all, and that's a skill which I'm hopefully building up year on year. So it's getting here. It's a bit dark and tight, but yeah, you can lift up these. There's all sorts. You can lift up each of these rollers. You can have them all transferring, all going the same way, or you can change it so the second table here goes the other way, or the first table goes the other way, but sometimes then it blocks up. So it's just playing around with it, and literally does depend on the soil type and how wet it is, the conditions, size of potatoes, all that sort of thing. All controlled on the control box which sits in the tractor. So this is where we're up to in terms of our maintenance, and it's something that we'll be looking at on Monday morning. So spuds all come down here, blah blah blah, depends on how you set it, but could be nice and quick, or you can slow it right down onto this little sort of web, which then goes into the conveyor down at the bottom. We'll go and have a walk around the side in a minute, but conveyor obviously reaches all the way out and drop it right in the trailer. So the potatoes are literally dropping as little distance as possible. We've got a camera on the end, so it's a SpareX camera, and we've got a few around the machine. We've got a few in here. God, it's only not even been that long since I was on it, but I think you can't really see it from here. Anyway, we've got cameras on here, so you can actually see what's going on the screen, because otherwise it's quite difficult to be able to know what you're changing on the screen, if it's making a difference or not at all. So yeah, try and get down safely, I guess. I'll leave it on, so if I fall, then you'll know what happened. There we go. Change a few of the bars in here, so that'll need to be clamped on, but just if they get bent from the stones, then they get replaced. So we've taken it out and Matthew's straightened it up, to replace some of the nuts and bolts there. This is sort of down the side of it. Looks kind of fairly complex, but lots of pulleys and belts and whatnot, which we'll get stuck into next week. So yeah, this definitely looks like the harder section for maintenance, at least. And then here we go. So this is the cart elevator, which sits. I can't remember whether there's a camera. There we go. Just up in there, SpareX camera, so I can see when I'm on the screen driving it exactly where it is, and obviously lift it or lower it depending on where it needs to be. Independent steering axles, which is good and obviously very much needed, particularly in corners and turning on headlands. So this elevator reaches out, sticks into the trailer. They look pretty kind of flimsy, actually. You don't want to hit them, definitely don't want to hit them. So there's another camera, so you can have a look when you're windrowing. So when normally it goes out that way into the trailers, but you can windrow it, so when you're opening up a field, and then you can see, make sure that those potatoes are falling in the next row and not going over anywhere else. There's another camera for the table, so you can have a look on the screen. I've got like 4 cameras set up, so I can see exactly what's going on when you change the settings, if it's making a difference at all. There's a light as well for the windrow. It's surprisingly difficult to see at night when it's dark, maybe not surprising. First web, a lot shorter. And yeah, that's underneath the multi-sep, so loads of soil falls out of here. And the idea is that spuds come down here, and you're just left with spuds at this point, which then drop down here and obviously up into the trailers. So that's a bit of a look around the Grimme GT, and we'll have a very quick look in the tractor at the control box. I mean, hopefully this October, you know, I'll be able to show you a bit more of it actually in action and changing it and things. But you've got this is the control box, kind of like 3 different screens, A, B and C. A is for steering, which all A, B and C is all on here. This is just the cart elevator. So A steering, B I think is leveling, and C is pitch in the machine. Yeah, obviously change it going up and downhill, because obviously the speeds of the potatoes changes. There's the SpareX camera screen, and that's kind of it really. So there it is, Grimme GT harvester. I would say last year it was definitely one of the hardest things I've had to overcome, I guess, or definitely one of the hardest challenges that I've experienced on a farm, driving one of these. There's a lot to think about, particularly with the trailer drivers. You've always got to watch the cart elevator. You can see it on the camera how close you get into the front and back of the trailer. There's a lot of things you can change, and yeah, it just took a while to get used to really. It's sort of now similar to the destoner. This is harder to drive than the destoner, but similar concept with the steering axle. But there's a lot to change. Like when you, I suppose when you're compared with like the Vadestad drill or something, you set it up and you go up and down, whereas this you're constantly changing it, and because you're only taking a single bed up at each time, or 2 rows, you're literally covering every single part of the field. So you know exactly when, I don't know, you're going 4K or something, you know exactly when the soil type changes in the field. There's one up at Apostles, it's heavy at the top, heavy at the bottom, but in the middle it's nice and light, so you can increase your speed in there, and then you slow right down, and you have to change the setting again when you hit that bad patch. So yeah, it took a while, and that's why I didn't film too much, but I did film a little bit, so I'll post a video following up on this one of the spud harvest in action. There's no commentary on it. I was very stressed at the time, and yeah, it's just sort of something for you to watch and enjoy. So there we go. I mean, it's been an interesting look around it. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. And yeah, farm work is not all about driving the kit, you've also got to maintain it. I think quite a few farms take the spud kit into Len Evans and they service it for them, but yeah, we sort of do it here and go and get our parts from them, which works well for us. So there we go, that was a bit of a look around the Grimme GT170 harvester. Obviously got it in bits at the moment, but yeah, if you've got any questions about it, then let me know and I'll do my best to answer it. It's going to be in here for a little while longer, so yeah, can always come and return to it and have a look around it. But yeah, hopefully bring you some actual working footage of it in October from the cab. As it's the second year, hopefully get into it a bit quicker and then can spend more time having a look around it and showing you guys and enjoying it. Last year was stressful, I had Classic FM on, which obviously stressful times. So yeah, we'll enjoy it this season for sure. So yeah, thank you for watching. I'm going to do my Q&A video next. You asked me, and I can't remember which video it was one of the most recent ones. Asked some questions and I'm going to answer them now, so look out for that one as well as the spud harvester video working, etc. Cool, right, see you guys soon. Thanks for watching, goodbye.